You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
And now, it's time for the show that breaks down the options market from unusual activity alerts to market analysis, strategy overviews, listener questions, and much more. If it involves puts and calls, then our all-star panel will break it down. It's time to hit the Option Block with your host, Mark Longo from the Options Insider Media Group, and co-hosts, Uncle Mike Tosaw from St. Charles Wealth Management, along with Andrew the Rock Lobster Giovinazzi from OptionFit.com.
Old trading walks into a bar. New trading raises it. That's Tasty Trade. Keep focused with news feeds that matter. See opportunity differently in analysis mode. Chart your heart out with over 300 indicators. Plus, you can get low pricing, lots of education, and a support team that really gets how traders trade. It's no wonder Investopedia named Tasty Trade the best broker for options in 2024. Genius loves company. Go to tastytrade.com/podcasts and see for yourself. Tasty Trade Incorporated is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC.
And now, get ready to hit the Option Block.
All right, everybody, that music means we are back. We are ready. We are raring to go. It is time to commence the final full trading week of 2025. Man, that's wild. This year in many ways has flown by. Seems like just yesterday we were talking about there's some tariff things on the horizon. Might cause a little bit of a dust up in the market. And now here we are, fast forward, we got through the summer doldrums, which weren't quite as doldrumy as they have been in the past. We've got through some explosive volume months and days, weird, wild whipsaws, and here we are, the final full trading week of 2025. Hope you're ready to get down to business. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, as well as from the network upon which all of you folks have been binging. A reminder, get your name in the hat before the end of the year if you want to get a shot at the final pro trading crate of 2025. You can wave it in the face of the Rock Lobster and say, I mock you. I have a pro trading crate, and you do not. TheOptionsInsider.com/pro is the place to go. And I mentioned the Rock Lobster. We are, of course, joined by the rockingest of lobsters, Mr. Andrew Giovinazzi from OptionPit.com, as well as by the uncleest of Mikes, Mr. Uncle Mike Tosaw from St. Charles Wealth Management. And to say this is a consequential Monday episode of the Option Block is putting it mildly. Both men, they are sweating, listeners. It is down to the wire. Uncle Mike was kind of meandering through the first half of the year on the trivia challenge, but he's been bringing the heat of late. The Rock Lobster is sweating. Uncle Mike is sweating. Both men, they have no time for small talk. They want to get down to business. It is time for one of the final, is it the penultimate? It might be. Let's see. So today, no, we would have two more. So it is the last before the penultimate. Well, of course, depending on today's results, the outcome might become a certainty or not. We shall see. What am I talking about, listeners? Yes, it is time for the 80s Trivia Challenge. Here we go. All right, everybody, just to set the table, just to let you know just what a contest this has become, because the first really 3/4 of the year, it was kind of a smoke fest. Uncle Mike was just nowhere to be found. The Rock Lobster was taking him to the woodshed, and coming into October, Uncle Mike was looking pretty distant. He was pretty much a little around 6 points behind the Rock Lobster, with that one missing point going out to Mr. Passarelli, who had one appearance, got 1 point on the year. But since October, Uncle Mike has been on quite the run. In fact, Andrew hasn't won a point since November 3rd. It has been 5 straight weeks of point victories for Uncle Mike. Uncle Mike got a point on November 10th, for professional wrestling, which I'm sure the Rock Lobster still takes umbrage that was the question. But c'est la vie. The trivia gods decide, not I. The 17th, he got a point, a surprise one for the Harlem Globetrotters being the most traveled sports team. The 24th, Uncle Mike came back for Kansas City Chiefs losing the first Super Bowl. December 1st, he got the World Series of Poker being in Las Vegas. And then last week on the show, he got the point for the 7th inning stretch. All right, Uncle Mike, you've been on quite the tear. I think it's not unfair to say you kind of got to hit them all the rest of the year. Can you keep the streak? No pressure, sir. No pressure, Mr. Uncle Mike. All right. So as you wipe the sweat from your brow, sir, how are we going out this week? Are we staying with the one that brought you to the dance and got you in a lot of trouble early? Or are you going to mix it up and go like green this week or something crazy?
I'm going to go with sports and leisure, but give me something sports that Andrew doesn't know, please.
Okay, I'll do what I can. I will say this: I felt the pressure making the poll this week. I actually made sure I shuffled a lot. I knew
So
this was a very
wrestling.
I knew this was a very consequential poll. I did check; it is not wrist wrestling, so you can put that one aside. But I felt the weight as I pulled the card from the deck this week. So, gentlemen, get your fingers on your buzzers. You're going to want to buzz for this one, is all I'm going to say. Here we go. All right. For not quite all the marbles, but close to them. Here we go. Sports and leisure. I'm going to drag it out a little bit. December 15th episode of the Option Block. All right. Who was known as the Sultan of SWAT? Go.
Buzz.
Oh, Andrew beat you. Andrew had it queued up. Andrew beat you. I'm looking at it right now. I am the buzzer of record. I will put it in the chat so everyone can see the order upon which it appeared on my screen.
All I can say is Babe Ruth. But
Yes.
It's Babe Ruth.
Oh, man. I saw this one, and I thought, you know what? This is so easy. Do I pull another one? But I thought, you know what? I can't be messing. The trivia gods have spoken. This is the question you have. I cannot mess with the system. I cannot inject my own. I told you, keep your hands on the trigger finger today. Oh, the Rock Lobster. That may have sealed your doom, Mr. Uncle Mike. You can still got to fight though, for honor.
I still think going into the end, he could still do it. That's the worst part. I screwed up. I got to be on the game.
1 point for it. I almost wrote Uncle Mike. That would have been would that have been binding if I wrote Uncle Mike? Then you get the point. Let's see. 1 point.
I should get a point.
The Rock Lobster for Babe Ruth. Oh, I tried to hint to you, Uncle Mike. I said, get your hands on the buzzer. You're gonna want to buzz. I did everything I could within the boundaries of the game.
I do believe I was first to the saying buzz as well.
Yeah, I think in the recording you probably were as well. But listeners can go back and
nothing.
listen.
We've already established that means nothing.
That is true, but I think listeners can go back and see the Rock Lobster.
Hold on. Am I first in the Longo thing or not?
Yes, you are. I put it in the chat.
Well,
You can see it for yourself.
I think there's some skullduggery going on between
no
you and Longo.
groaning. It was a Babe Ruth question.
Because it does clearly
You got
show
the World Series of Poker one right. I can't believe I did not just. But anyway, that's okay.
I'm guessing if you have a local chat on your end, it's going to put you probably first anyway. So they all have to come to me, and our system is the arbiter, and our system declared to the Rock Lobster.
Arbiter.
And by the way, you weren't complaining the last 5 weeks. I'm just saying, the last 5 weeks, you were first.
Wow.
But I was first then. Now it's skullduggery going on. This is Chicago politics. They're all in with these Chicago politicians. These are all a bunch of Chicago floor traders.
I was trying to give you the hint, Uncle Mike, to pretty much say buzz the second I started reading the question.
This is
Chicago politics.
The other 5 weeks in a row, I was beating at the buzzer.
Man. Who knew it might have all come down to Babe Ruth, listeners. Hopefully you got that one. That one was pretty darn easy. if I do say so myself. Listeners, did that seal Uncle Mike's fate?
I'll tell you what, it's only easy if you're of a certain age. If you're under 30, I don't think they would have known that. People would have.
Yeah, Babe Ruth, I'm not sure if he still commands the same presence that as he once did. But let's see. Did our listeners, did you get that? Did you know who the Sultan of SWAT was? Listeners, hit us up. Let us know as we keep on rolling into the trading block.
It's time to break down the latest topics, trades, and trends in the world of options. It's time for the trading block.
All right, Uncle Mike has turned off his camera in shame. He doesn't want us to see his face anymore. He wants to hide. He says, "Leave me alone." He wants to wallow in his pain a little bit. I get it.
Take my ball and go home.
You are. You're taking the VIX is too high for you. Taking your ball and going home.
It's still the comeback is still alive.
It is. I will have to confer with the producers to make sure. I do believe that sealed your fate, but you might have a chance. Who knows? Rock Lobster might do something so heinous that he gets fined a point, and now you're back in it.
He deserves fined.
So mind your P's and Q's, Mr. Rock Lobster. Or maybe you work out some behind-the-scenes shady deal with your nemesis in life, Mr. Passarelli, and somehow his point accrues to you. I don't know. Who am I to speak of what type of backroom dealings will go on here? That is beyond my purview here as the maestro of the show. What happens beyond the scenes of the show is not my reach. So
That's why you are the benevolent dictator of the show.
Yes.
Chicago politics. That's all I got to say.
I'm just saying, hey, if you want to make Chicago politics work for you, Uncle Mike, that's all I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there. If you arrange it, I won't look down upon you. I will commend your efforts.
Skippy's Euro place that's looking for another diner. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying out here, listeners. Clearly, Uncle Mike ain't trying.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's keep rolling while Uncle Mike stews in his juices for a little bit. This market appears to be, you know what? He was distracted with the trivia. I get it now why the market turned red. He was preparing for the trivia contest, and so the cabal lost its leader for about 20 minutes, and as a result, the market lost its green. It started off green, then we kind of started drifting red, and we've pretty much been red ever since. Not a ton, listeners. We bounced a few times right off that 6,800, got down to about 6,806 or so in the S&P, off about 0.15%, vacillating around in this range out here today. But for the most part, tilting red. Dow off a similar percentage. NASDAQ has been its wont of late, taking a little bit more of a drubbing, off about 0.4% right now. Tech-heavy NASDAQ land. Not where you wanted to be over the last few sessions out there. So interesting stuff out here to kick off the final full trading week of the year. VIX Cash getting a little bit more juice after kind of giving up the ghost. We were kind of debating this at the end of Vol Views last week, Once and Future Dr. VIX and I, whether puts in VIX have become the new calls, in the sense that when you got them and they start working, you got to monetize the hell out of them pretty quickly, and then otherwise, you risk having it move away from you the way the calls do 99.9% of the time. And it does seem like we're kind of in that environment right now. VIX Cash coming back up to about 16 3/4, up 1.5 points from where it was on Thursday. So everyone who's been leaning heavy on 15.5, 16.5 puts, all that kind of fun. Maybe you took some money towards the end of last week. We'll see. VVIX at about 100 exactly, up 4 points from where it was this time last week. Now, this is the portion of the year, final full trading week of the year, heading into the holiday season, where you really usually start to see vol get taken out to the woodshed. But we have stuff going on this week. We have numbers coming out of China today that spook some folks. We have the prospect for some lagging economic data catching up with us that may or may not be that great. So all sorts of things still lurking, which make it a very different December from years past. So a lot to unpack. Let's go out to the winner of our trivia contest for today, at least, which means if he wins, I got to figure out a fun prize for the Rock Lobster. I have Uncle Mike down pretty well. For the Rock Lobster, I don't know. What does he need? A new beanie? I don't know. What's the hot thing for the Rock Lobster? I have to figure it out. But Mr. Rock Lobster, sir, what is catching your eye in the start of the final full trading week of the... First off, can you believe we are there, sir?
I cannot. I mean, I just remember the beginning of the year. There was like all this Doge. The Doge was going to.
Oh yeah,
money. And,
Musk and Trump were buddies at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. And right now, I think actually one of the better trades I had all year was just trading the in and out relationship they had. And I think he's back in the good graces again. I'm still long Tesla shares. But I did have some, there's a little trading opportunity in there. But who knew that the government used to spend money, didn't even know where it went, didn't have any line items, didn't have crazy. So maybe that's changed something for the better. All I know is they spend a lot of money and I don't think I get any of it. So, the year started with that. Then the tariff thing. And remember, NVIDIA was going to be done because of DeepSeek.
DeepSeek ruined all of the AI.
Gone, right? And now it's 9 months later, 10 months later, don't hear anything about it. And NVIDIA is still selling as many or more chips as they did the last time. So this is, some curious stuff for sure out of them on this. I guess the Chinese AI thing, I'm sure it'll be a thing, or what AI will be. Another thing is the beginning of the year, everybody liked the big spend on AI, but in the last half of the year, it feels like, Oracle, had that big move up and then down because they're spending too much. Like Pinterest spending too much, Meta was spending too much on AI chips. Everybody's freaking out about it. It's causing me today, this very day, to be honest, I'm lightening up on some of my chip exposure. It's been a great run, but I'm like, maybe I'll start looking at something else. They're still great growth stocks, but they're just, I feel like it's kind of, getting a little pricey now. So I think there has been a year of, interesting things. What's the same? Congress not doing anything. That's the only thing that hasn't changed. Trump is Trump, hasn't changed. He hasn't changed much either. But Congress not, maybe they're going to solve something, do something about the cost of healthcare. Small businesses, I know, pay a fortune. Our option pit, although we're bigger now, we got like 20 employees now, but that's our biggest expense, crazy expense. So, would we like to have a lower alternative for healthcare? Yeah, we would. Because barely anybody uses it in our company. I know we spend quite a bit on it. So, anyway, these are big themes. And inflation, the Fed, inflation probably, and again, why isn't inflation going down? I think Congress is still spending too much money. And it will probably start to go down when they stop printing so much money. So this last Fed, the last FOMC meeting we had last week, they're going QE and they're cutting rates. So I'm just shaking my head, and saying, okay. And then silver and gold go off the moon. I know silver is Mike's bailiwick, but so it's been a year of, I would say overall though, corporate earnings are pretty strong. And that's ultimately when stocks go up. When corporate earnings start to decline, stocks go down. So at least for now, things look pretty good, but again, I feel it's another year of kicking the can down the road, and every year it gets a little tougher. But that is how I see it. But still, stocks are close to all-time highs here. We tickled the all-time high last week, but we didn't get the big bang out of the QE this time. So it might be that we've got the end of the road for all this monetary shenanigans, and we actually have to start looking at other ways to boost growth and stock prices. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Mr. Rock Lobster, you didn't catch us at the end of Vol Views with our little debate. So where do you fall on this topic really quickly? All year it's pretty much been monetize your VIX calls pretty aggressively. Are we in that period right now for VIX puts? You think if you get a little money in your back pocket on the downside in VIX, you get the heck out of Dodge, or at least take some off the table? Are you feeling that right now?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, my VIX used to be my best product and was my worst product this year for myself. And it's because I didn't monetize the VIX puts. Calls, I still do okay on, but I was just a greedy pig. Thankfully, I was just long enough to overcome it. Long stocks, just owning stuff. But not taking money on VIX puts was disastrous. Like, where show me the, realized vol is 8%, 7%, 6%. Show me a 14 or a 13 VIX, right? No, nothing, So yeah, I would say, and I don't think that's changing, because ultimately I don't think this monetary Fed involvement thing is changing. So that's the story on that.
I was a greedy pig, says the Rock Lobster.
100%. My students are like, dude, just don't be greedy, will you?
Now we've also figured it out. It's been you all year long who's been buying these 15 puts and VIX all year long. It was you throwing money away every month on the 15 strike. So there we go.
Just throwing it away.
Just
15. The worst part was like 15 is like 16s, 17s, and 18s. Not taking losing money on an 18 put, which is like right halfway in the middle for VIX, is that's just bad form, bad. Like, dude, you were up like 50 cents on them at least. No, I didn't.
I get it. I did, but I didn't. It's a rough time out there in VIX land. Have you been sitting on your VIX downside a little bit too much? I said that to myself the last time SVIX got trimmed pretty aggressive. I said, you know what? It's been a good year. I should probably monetize some of this. I bailed on all my SVIX recently out there as well, which has been the way I've been playing a lot of VIX downside of late. I haven't been doing a lot of put nibbling this time of year, which is unusual for me, which also speaks to kind of the weird year that it is. Mr. Uncle Mike, we turn to you now as you are still grieving a very close loss out there today. Our chat is debating what you should do. Some of our chats say, you're closer to Chicago than the Rock Lobster, so you have easy access to some skullduggery if you want to go down to the options mecca known as Frankfurt and work out some deal with Mr. P. Then, that's up to you. Others are debating what the next game should be next year, but a lot of them are saying it's got to be 80s trivia. It's kind of the brand of the show. We couldn't do other trivia. It wouldn't really be as fun. It's all about the 80s trivia out there. And plus they all point out a good point. We really only had one category this year. It was all sports and leisure because Uncle Mike dominated the loser bracket and he forced it all. So maybe next year it'll be a different category. Maybe, dare I say it, I don't know, geography. It's something different. We shall see.
For interest, we should roll a little lottery wheel or something.
We could do that. Like maybe you have a little roll. I was letting the loser pick this year, but maybe that led to an all sports dominated show. Maybe we mix it up. So there you go. Uncle Mike, a lot to mull over as we're coming into the final portion of the year. I get you've been busy, which is why your cabal hasn't been buying. What's catching your eye out here in today's market, sir?
Well, first off, I don't know who Mr. P is. So, or the trading floor on Frankfurt Street, or what are we talking about here?
Mr. Passarelli, your lifelong nemesis.
Oh.
From the options mecca known as Frankfurt.
There was some guy. I thought this was some other Chicago skullduggery thing you got going on.
Daniel Machiavelli Passarelli III, Esquire.
See, this is just so beyond me. It's a giant conspiracy. That's all it is. Anyway, in terms of what the market's doing today, not much. We are down to roughly 20 points in the SPX. We are getting a lot of movement in silver again. Silver would be a fun thing to day trade at this point if you're right. If you're on the right side of the trade, you'd be doing really well going both long and short lately in silver intraday. I think just with, in addition to everything that Andrew had said, the main thing that's going to be the market driver in 2026, I think it's going to have a lot to do with interest rates. If Trump gets the guy, if he gets what he wants, interest rates will go down. Will that continue to prop markets higher? Who knows? But I do think that there will be a case for the bulls due to lower interest rates for a variety of reasons. In terms of some individual names with which I'm watching, Apple is actually down today, so that's down 1.5%. Just seems to be having a hard time getting through that 280 level. But considering where it was a year ago, that's really not a bad thing by any means.
I think you need to check your screens. I don't think that's possible for Apple to go down. You need to check your screens again, sir. Not possible.
No, it's actually down today. It's kind of weird. Down
your screens must be broken. I will have to confirm.
All right. Well, I'm doing headstands right now, so maybe I'm looking at upside down. Who knows? With that, we also have Microsoft down a little bit on the day, down 1%. It seems like Microsoft, whenever they start coming down or leveling off, they just come up for this crazy run to 500 for no reason. And then that's kind of where it's at. But for right now, we do have Microsoft down on the day. But other than that, there's not really any major movers of any major stocks that are at least on my screen anyway. Some other ones with which to make note of. Tesla is up over 3.5% on the day, but for the most part, we're not getting a ton of movement today, and that's what's happening.
Well, stay tuned for our question of the week, our poll, Mr. Uncle Mike. I have a feeling it's going to be right up your alley. Maybe it will soothe some of your pain from your open wound.
I could use some soothing right now.
From the open wound. That is the trivia contest for Uncle Mike right now. But before we get there, listeners, we have to run through some data here as I'm busy crunching the numbers. Uncle Mike didn't buy me much time to finish all my crunching, so I'll just do it on the fly, listeners. All right, let's kick it off. Out to the land of VIX right now, listeners. Is VIX looking spicy to kick off this final full trading week of the year? The answer is yeah, it's looking pretty good. I mean, we have managed to sustain this little over 1 million contract ADV for the better part of a month now, which is impressive when you're talking about the end of the year, December. Again, that shows you yet again what a different end of the year it is this year, what a different December it is than years past, listeners. VIX putting up nearly 600,000 contracts already, 592. Now, most years, December, that would be about the ADV. 550, 605 a day would be kind of it. And this portion of the show, you might be at 250, maybe 300 if you're lucky. So the fact that the ADV is still north of 1 million and we're already at 600K right now, it's kind of wild, quite frankly. And again, we've been saying for a while, not your usual December. That's why I let go of all my SVIX. That's why I wasn't really playing too aggressively on some of the vol fade trades I usually do, because it's been wild. Even if you had the vol trade on last week, I hope you monetized it, listeners, because didn't last quite as long as some folks might have hoped. Speaking of which, we have our hot VIX options for the day. You know us. We like to crunch some of the numbers, see what you folks are slinging out there, listeners. And your hot VIX option is the Rock Lobster's favorite. Everyone's favorite, apparently, except for mine. It's our old pal, the D's 15 puts. Yeah, they're back. And we're going to post a flash poll, hopefully sometime soon. See what you folks have to say about that. But right now, the D's 15 puts are taking it, listeners. 61,000 of these bad boys going up today. If you're wondering what the heck does a D's 15 puts with about 2 days left to go with vol rally, and what the hell is that still going for? Well, the answer is almost 4 cents. So if you're wondering, if you want to take a flyer, if you think December is the month when that 15 handle will finally come into play, well, then there you go. Maybe 4 cents is your huckleberry. Worth noting, there's obviously a ton of OI on that strike, so that could very easily be folks bailing. That said, 75% look like they're lifting offers on these puts, so some folks could be rolling the bones on some more. By the way, if you're wondering, hanging out right now, that D's future in VIX is at about a 1660. So VRO sub 15 by Wednesday. That seems like a hefty move, but then again, we've been saying that all year long. Maybe December will finally prove us wrong. VRO 1465. Bam, there you go. That 4 cents looking pretty good, but as of right now, seems like a bit of a flyer. Either way, that's our big dog. In fact, let's do a quick top 5 in VIX land, because it is a surprisingly active day out there. Number 2, 47,000 of the Feb 35s. Average price $1 pretty much out there. So if you want some upside, you could sell the D's 15 puts for 4 cents and then turn around and spend the other 96 cents buying some Feb 35s. That's a funky risk reversal. There you go. Number 3, 37,000 of the, dare I say it, more relevant D's 16 puts. These obviously have a chance of coming to fruition. About 30 cents for these bad boys. So obviously a lot more expensive, but also a better payoff probability than the 15s. Number 4, 20,000 of the 16 half puts. Dare I say it, even more juice. 54 cents for these bad boys. And then number 5 out here, the D's 18 call. So we got some upside percolating in there. 19,000 of these have changed hands so far. Average price for those, 31 cents. So if you want a little upside, there you go, listener. You could sell the 16 put, buy the 18 call, do that risk reversal for about even, maybe a 2-cent debit. There you go, listeners. Printing money out there in VIX land as we keep rolling out to SPY. Is SPY looking hot? Is SPY looking spicy? The answer is a resounding yes. 7.5 million contracts already on the tape, 7.55 million to be precise. The ADV 10.3 million. So again, looking pretty aggressive out there in SPY. Let's just do a quick check because we kind of all know it's all 0 day all the time. But you know what? Not today, listeners. We have three, dare I say it, 3 contracts in the top 20 in SPY today, which again, SPY's already put up more than a day's worth of volume on some average days lately. So 3 contracts right now expiring not today. One is the Jan 535 puts. They've gone up 150,000 times exactly today, end of month Jan. And then we have the 550 puts, 150,000 of those as well, expiring on January 23rd. So they're both opening. So we do have an opening weekly kind of put diagonal. That'd be kind of fun. Exact same size. So that is kind of weird. And then bringing up the rear in our top 20, number 20 is 75,000 of the Jan 600 puts. If you're wondering, those going up for $1.32 right now. So there you go, listeners. That's what's dominating the tape in SPY. Is the S looking similarly spicy? You can probably guess that the answer is yes, and it is yes. It's closing in on 3 million contracts right now, 2.97 million. So, dare I say it, respectable flow. The ADV, 4.4 million, so definitely well on its way to that ADV. Again, we've seen the second half of the session sometimes fail to deliver, so we could come back on the hot options report at the end of the day. And, we didn't hit the ADV. I'd be surprised, but we have seen a few sessions like that. Tell you what, let's be even, Steven. Let's do a top 20 in the SPX right now. And you know what? The SPX says, get the hell out of here, SPY. We're doing all 0 day all the time. We ain't got time for anything that doesn't expire today, listeners. By the way, the hot option in the SPX right now, 106,000 of the par puts, the 6,800 puts. The average price for these bad boys, $5 right now. And they've gone up exactly split between the bid and the offer out there. So back and forth paper on that par strike, which again, you can kind of expect right now. Par puts, 6,800 puts. Might be a fun little flash poll as well. Would you rather buy them? Or would you rather say sold to you? In other words, listeners, are we going to break through the par strike by the end of the day or not? Small caps, IWM, 1.1 million contracts on the tape. So looking pretty spicy. The ADV is right about 2 million. So we'll see if they can get there. The Qs, 4.45 million contracts. The ADV, 5.7 million. So the Qs looking really spicy out there. And to tell you what, just to keep things consistent, we know small caps tend to not be all 0 day all the time. But let's see if the Qs are hanging out. And the answer is, oh no, number 19 expires tomorrow, listeners. Everything else, though, going the way of the dodo today. By the way, the hot option in the Qs right now, 222,000 of the 613 calls. The Qs hanging out right around 611 right now. These are expiring today. Average price of $1.09. So you need the Qs to get the hell out of bed if you're a buy. Looks like paper might have been selling those, though, so maybe a bit of an overwrite. We shall see as we see what is lighting up our top 10 out there today, listeners. Is it a spicy day out there in the single name equity options, listeners? The answer is no. I wish I could lie to you. I wish I could say, oh yeah, it's blowing the doors off. But once again, we do see this kind of inverse correlation between the large indexes and the single names. When one is hot, the other is usually not, and vice versa. And that is the case today. We're struggling to make 300K, 297,000 contracts is what it costs you to break into the top 10. But that said, let me re-rack it right now. Oh, you know what? We just hit it. As I was talking, we added another 3,000 contracts. We're exactly at 300,000 contracts to break into the top 10. What does that get us to? That gets us to Uncle Mike's beloved holding known as Palantir. 185.30. So Palantir rallying today, kind of bucking the trend. Up about $1.75 or nearly 1%. Good for the number 10 spot. Number 9, this is a newcomer. I haven't had a chance to dig into this. Oh, this is another Bitcoin miner. This one, this one's looking pretty interesting. This is IREN, ticker symbol IREN. This is a Bitcoin miner out of Aussie land out here. Making our top 10 today. Number 9, 317,000. IREN selling off $4 today, or about 10%, trading right around $36 exactly. So not exactly a great day. Over the last 5 days, it's been really rough. They got as high as about $48 just on Tuesday of last week, and they're obviously down to $36 right now. So they're off about 21% in the last 5 days. So people have been saying for a little while, maybe there's a little bit of a canary in the coal mine on the crypto front. We'll get more into that obviously later with our good buddy Greg on the crypto rundown out here. But interesting stuff out here today. IREN coming in number 9, listeners. Number 8, out to our old pal, the Widowmaker. Are they going to make the deal? Are they not going to make the deal? Netflix, number 8, 339 on the tape, 93.66, off $1.40 or about 1.5%. Good for the number 8 spot. Number 7, it's the Monster. 161.82 is where they're trading right now. Off another nearly $15, 14.60, 8.3%. My goodness, they're coming for the Monster today. Number 7, 341. Number 6, it's our old pal Oracle, continuing to look red. 185.5, off about 4.25 or 2.25%. Good for the number 6 spot, 353,000. Number 5, we're all the way up to number 5, listeners, only at 405,000 contracts. Again, that shows you kind of what a light day it is. That gets us to our old pal, the Amazonians, 222.22 exactly right now, off almost $4 or about 1 2/3%. So coming for the Amazonians today. Number 5, 405 on the tape. Number 4, keeping it in A tech names. Uncle Mike just talked about this one. This is the fruit company. It's kind of hard to drag Apple down, but they're selling off a little over $4 right now, 4.25, trading 274, pretty much even, putting up 427,000 contracts for the number 4 spot. And Uncle Mike is correct. Ever since they hit that kind of 52-week high of nearly 290, 288.61, they've kind of struggled to maintain this north of 280 level. Again, kind of hard. Got to play the world's smallest violin for them because they are up about 100 handles from their stock buyback level. So if they do want to go down, they got some room to give. But that said, rare red day for the fruit company. Keeping it in A tech names even more. This one, obviously, not really lighting the world on fire post earnings. This is the Rock Lobster's favorite holding. This is AVGO, aka Broadcom, continuing to sell off today. 339.59, off about 20 1/3 or about 5.6%. Good for number 3. Again, number 3, we're only at 469,000 contracts. Shows you what a weird light day it is. If it's not for our top 2, we would have really not much volume to speak of here at all. Number 2 is NVIDIA, 176. Wouldn't that be nice for the Bulls? 170, actually just ticked up. 177.10 for NVIDIA, up a little over $2, about 210, a little over 1%. Good for 1.2 million contracts. That means the big dog today, at least for right now, is Tesla. Tesla roaring back to life. 475.86, up nearly $17 or 3 2/3%. More robo-taxi stuff going on, or more buyers than sellers. Either way, blowing through the 450, 460, now 470 handles out there. So interesting to see what the hot option is in Tesla today. Come back to the hot options report after the closing bell if you want to find out along with the rest of us. Yet another reason why you should be listening to the full network. We're coming into the dregs of earnings season, as you might expect, given that we are heading into the holiday season. Still some names to watch, though. Wednesday, we've got Micron popping off after the bell, so that certainly is an interesting one to watch. We have Lenner, if you want to go see what's going on with the homes building after the bell on Tuesday. If you want to know what's going on with pricier men's clothing, maybe too pricey for Uncle Mike, also for the working man, the blue-collar man out there, it's Duluth Trading. If you like spending $30 for some robust underwear, then Duluth Trading is the place to go. Uncle Mike maybe a little bit too rich for his blood. He prefers Five Below. And then we've got FedEx after the bell on Thursday. I cracked myself up. Darden Restaurants after the bell on Thursday. We've got Nike after the bell on Thursday. So a lot going off. Darden Restaurants before the bell, I should say, on Thursday. So the meatballs favorite. And then on Friday, we've got Carnival and all kinds of fun going on. So still some fun popping off on the earnings front, even if we are starting to come down to it here. If you want to check the latest earnings, let's look really quickly at Micron before we keep rolling out into Odd Block really quickly. Micron, 17th after the bell. They were trading $241.14 when we ran this report. They were pricing in $22.66. In the past, they've moved $18.44. So fair amount of extra juice $4.22 worth of extra juice. Is that merited in Micron? I guess we'll find out. The season looking pretty robust still, 113% against our long-term average of 102%. If you want to see all that for yourselves, theoptionsinsider.com is the place to go, but we got to keep on going right on into the odd block.
It's time to break down the most interesting, unusual, and downright questionable options activity that's been identified by theoptionsinsider.com. It's time for the Odd Block.
All right, everybody, let's get weird. Let's get wild. It's kind of a quiet, sleepy day on the single name front, so not a ton of great paper lighting up the tape. So we're going to pay off some that we've been sitting on for a little bit here. Our cup runneth over with trades to track. We got to finalize some of these before the end of the year. So let's go out to the August 18th show. August 18th. Almost exactly 4 months ago. Who can remember that far back? We were all so young and innocent, Mr. Rock Lobster. But on that show, we talked about a name we haven't talked about pretty much since. This is IQIYI Inc. This is a Chinese ADR. They've had an interesting year. They're mostly, actually, as of right now, they're pretty much off to slightly off about 5%. That's about 12 cents because they're trading right around $2, $1.98 right now. They had a high of 284. That was back in September, and a low of $1.50. So almost a $3 to $1.50 range on the year, hanging out right around $2 right now. And what did we talk about on the August 18th show? Somebody was rolling the bones for some upside. They came in and said, AUG 2 halves, how are they? Expiring on the 29th. So this was on August 18th. So they're going out pretty much a little over a week, buying a little bit of upside. They got a market of a dime at 13 cents. They said 13 cents, buy them 3,000 times. The stock was 240 at the time. They came back, ended up doing a lot, total of 17,000 on the day. So somebody really liked this one. And again, 2.5, the stock was 240, 13 cents. It didn't seem crazy rich. They had earnings on August 20th, so it was obviously an earnings roll of the dice. And you know what, Mr. Rock Lobster? They did a whole bunch of contracts. And take a guess where the stock went out. So they bought the 2 half calls for 13 cents. Take a guess where the stock went out on earnings, sir, the 29th or expiration.
On expiration, I'm just looking at oh, wow. It looks like they broke even.
Yep, pretty much 265. So they made a couple of cents, which I guess is better than losing a couple of cents. But they did all this work, generated all these commissions, Mr. Rock Lobster, and it pretty much was a scratch. What are your thoughts?
Well, I have to say, I sold a bunch of 16 puts on Wednesday and Thursday in VIX, and I made a dime on them. I think probably average. So, and I'm glad I did because they were zero now. So, after watching them be up a little bit more, so it's taking a couple cents is better than nothing.
Better to win 2 cents than to lose 2 cents. Let's go out to that same show, listeners. We had a theme going for that show. We went out to Hive, which is another kind of cheapy name. Hive Digital Technologies, ticker symbol Hive, HIVE. This is out of Vancouver. They're trading $2.80 right now, off about 26 cents or 8.5%. So a bad day for them. On the year, it's been off about $1.12 or 28%. They had a high of $7.84 back in October. So, wow, they did some living. And the low was $1.26. So, this one has been pretty interesting. This is another kind of blockchain technology, name, listeners. So, they've been feeling some of the vol from the crypto side of the space. What did we talk about back on the August 18th show? Somebody came in once again, similar trade, stock around $2, 233 in this case. They said 2 halves, how are they? This time going all the way out to September. They said September 2 halves, how are they? They got 20 at 25 cents, so a pretty tight market. They said, you know what? 25 cents, buy them 8,152 times. They came back and did a total of nearly 15,000 on the day. I don't see any earnings in here. This looks like this was just a roll of the bones on some upside. And Mr. Rock Lobster, this one looks like they ended up working out pretty well. The stock closed $3.79 on expiration. All these calls were still open. So by my math, sir, looks like they made not quite $1 million, about $850,000. Still a pretty good do, roughly 3 to 4x your girlfriend's Ferrari metric, sir.
It is. So that we know it's not a line in the sand option. But still, almost like $1 million. Like you buy a call for a quarter, you sell it for $1. You're pretty happy. That's like Mark has that AI squeezy indicator that's doing really well, to be honest. But he, buy a lot of calls in these cheap stocks before they squeeze up. So, but you know what? That's probably what that IQ per call buyer was looking for. They just didn't get it. But this stock did go to $7.50. So the squeeze is real. The squeeze is very real.
The squeeze is real, and so is the strategy block. So let's get to it.
It's time to dispense options wit, wisdom, and education. It's time for the strategy block.
All right, Uncle Mike, if you've licked your wounds enough, maybe your strategy block for this week is not to pick sports and leisure every category in the trivia contest. What do you think?
Hey, I almost won, it sounds like.
You almost won until perhaps you did not, sir. But I digress. Have at it.
No doubt. Well, we are at that time of year to where we have to start thinking about taxation. And so a couple things that I want to remind our audience of is tax loss harvesting and 1256 tax treatment of options. So first off, tax loss harvesting. Let's say that you have a portfolio full of stocks, and I will oversimplify this, of course, just to give you the concept of it, and you can amplify it in whatever way with which you may or may not need within your own portfolio. Let's say that you have built-in losses within your portfolio, meaning you have one stock that is down, let's say $1,000, and another stock that is up $1,000, and you're looking to sell the stock that's up $1,000. One thing that you can do is sell the stock that's down $1,000 to offset the gain on the stock that's up $1,000. By doing that, you actually hit net zero taxation because of the fact that you have done the proper tax loss harvesting. Now, of course, it's never that simple, and you may not want to sell the stock that is down $1,000. That's something with which you need to manage, but proper tax loss harvesting can actually benefit you in a great way if it matches with what your portfolio objectives are. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is a reminder that wash sales do exist. They are a very real thing. So let's say that you sell something and you sell it at a loss, and they just buy it again the next day. You don't get to keep that loss, meaning you won't get to deduct that loss on your taxes. Because of that, that's called a wash sale. And if you buy the same stock within 30 days of the time that you sell it, you do not get to participate or get to use that loss as a deduction on your taxes. Of course, it's legal to do to buy it back if you want. There's nothing wrong with that, but you just won't get to use that loss as a deduction. Now, the other thing with which you could consider is maybe sell the stock for a loss, buy a similar stock, hold that for 30 days, or make that your new stock. That's another way with which you can get around it. Now, the other thing with which you need to be aware of, if you have any options on futures, if you have any options on SPX, XSP, or anything that would be designated as a 1256 contract, then you get 60-40 tax treatment on it, meaning the gains that you make, 60% are taxed at the long-term rate, 40% are at the short-term rate. However, December 31st is coming, and that is mark to market. What does that mean? That means that if you are in an option that has an expiration beyond December 31st, the tax man will look to see what the closing price is for that option on December 31st, and it will be treated as if you sold that option, whether it's for gain or for loss. It's called mark to market. That's something that's very real with 1256 contracts. It is not the case with individual equity options, but it is very real with 1256 index options. So if you have any of those in your portfolio and it's not an IRA, make sure that you have a plan and that you're prepared to deal with that come December 31st. And that is the strategy block for December 15th.
I have a plan, and that is to keep going to Around the Block.
It's time to tell you what we'll be watching on our trading screens until the next episode. It's time for Around the Block.
All right, listeners, really quickly, our flash poll from VIX did go live since we started talking, and 60% of our audience right now thinks those puts have a chance. They want to buy them. 40% saying sold to you, so that's saying 60% of our audience have not listened to Vol Views all year. I'm offended. I'm just kidding. You can do you out there, listeners. Right now, Uncle Mike, our question of the week is one that's right up your alley. We're asking our audience, silver on a historic run this year, but can it continue in 2026? Quite simply, if you have to buy an at-the-money put or call in SLV expiring at the end of next year, which way are you going? Are you going to buy the put? You going to buy the call, or are you just out on metals? Mr. Uncle Mike, what is your call, and what do you think our audience is calling?
For now, I am out on metals, but if I had to pick between the two, I would pick a put. And I think the audience is buying a call.
Interesting. And what else are you keeping an eye on for the rest of the week, sir?
We got it. We still have a shot at new all-time highs, 69.20. So we're 100 points away. It's not out of the question by any means. Continuing to watch that. And then interest rates. I think interest rates are going to be a major focus for 2026. So continuing to watch them.
What are these rates you speak of? I don't know what those words are you're saying. Mr. Rock Lobster, same question for you. What are your thoughts on silver? Or would you be buying the put or the call expiring in next year? Or are you just done with metals? Which way do you think our audience is going? And then C, what are you keeping an eye on for the rest of the week?
I think I would still buy a call for metals as long as we have this sort of runaway spending. It's been pretty good for the metals, and I don't see it stopping. So I think the viewers actually are going to stay long. That's what I think the poll would say. What I'm watching, we have a CPI number coming up, and we're going to see, I guess we had no data for October or whatever, so we'll have data for November. And, get a sense of this inflation thing. I think I think a cooler number easily gets us to all-time highs again. I agree with Mike, because this is America and stocks go up. So I still see it. For the most part, today's kind of a little bit of a downer, but for the most part, we're still rolling.
America, stocks go up. Let's look here. Right now, our audience is fading silver 50%, so they want to buy that put. Silver will be lower next year. 37.5% say they want to buy that call. And an eighth, 12.5% say I'm out on metals entirely. This just went live right before showtime, so we'll see how this evolves over the course of the week, listeners. And we had a flash poll here, but it looks like, we'll come back to that about these par puts in the S&P 500. But that music means we've come to the end of another journey through the world of all things options. If you want more in your lives, stay tuned. I'll be back in a little bit to talk this mess of a crypto market coming up on the Crypto Rundown. Then we're back to wrap it all up at the end of the day with the Hot Options Report. And Mr. Rock Lobster, if folks want to get hot and steamy and perhaps flashed by you, where should they go? What should they do?
Yes, you can be flashed by me. Optionpit.com, 888-TRADE-01. I'm about to launch my flash scanner, so you could be flashed maybe multiple times per week. You never know. Anyway, it's coming up. Optionpit.com. You guys have a good week.
The old OP. Check it out. You too can be flashed. And Mr. Uncle Mike, where can folks go if they want to debate your trivia strategy with you and also maybe talk some markets?
stcharleswealth.com. Check out the website. Book an appointment with me. We'd love to have a conversation with any of our listeners. Over the course of the next month or so, there will be more content coming out on the YouTube channel. Type in St. Charles Wealth Management.
Check them out, stcharleswealth.com. While you're checking things out, check out our friends over there in Tasty Trade, tastytrade.com/podcast. They love the OB listeners. See what they got in store for you at tastytrade.com/podcasts. to learn more. We're going to get out of here. Back again in a little bit with the crypto rundown. I will be joined by our good buddy, Mr. Greg. He's just champing at the bit to talk crypto with you folks these days. So join us for that. Yet another reason why you should be subscribed to the full network. Back at the end of the day for the hot options report. Then, of course, we're back with our usual array of content till we're back again, Flowmaster in hand, on Thursday. Another episode of the Option Block. Stay safe out there, everybody.
Old trading walks into a bar. New trading raises it. That's Tasty Trade. Keep focused with news feeds that matter. See opportunity differently in analysis mode. Chart your heart out with over 300 indicators. Plus, you can get low pricing, lots of education, and a support team that really gets how traders trade. It's no wonder Investopedia named Tasty Trade the best broker for options in 2024. Genius loves company. Go to tastytrade.com/podcasts and see for yourself. Tasty Trade Incorporated is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.